Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
That's a great yes. Yes.
Okay.
Everything's terrible. We all know this, but we don't want to talk about
shit's
that.
like bad.
Shit's like
friends.
real bad, and it has been, but it's like extra bad, which like not a fan of that.
I love that one of the best things about the past 5.5 years of doing this show, which
right,
is just you are able to track how much I've gone. My voice has just changed.
Right.
It was like, hey, same.
Sure.
And also just how bleak the goddamn world's gotten.
Yeah, it turns out pretty bad, actually.
Pretty bad. But how are you?
I'm fine. It's nice and sunny out. I've been trying to find little senses of joy, which is great because that's kind of the thing of what we do here, and we definitely need it.
Need it.
You need it. And I wanted to give a shout out
to squirrels.
No, but also go off squirrels. We love them, I guess. I'm sure they're doing great. They have no idea what's going on, and I love that for them. Their brains,
God bless.
They have no idea. They have no shot. I want to give a little shout out to the humble charcuterie board.
Okay, tell me everything.
I know it's become in vogue of people on TikTok making like fancy ass charcuterie boards, making big old, like getting fancy cheeses, getting all those things. That's fine. Yeah. I've done that sometimes, where I just want to like treat myself and get a bunch of different things and put it together.
Sure.
But yesterday I had like a day off that I wasn't expecting, and we're all just like, fuck it. Let's vibe. Let's go to the grocery store because it's Friday in the morning and nobody is there. And that's perfect before it goes wild for the cursed holiday
Memorial Day.
that's coming up, whatever. And I was like, what would be great to feed this broken soul right now?
A Memorial Day charcuterie board?
Just like a nice big charcuterie board. You know what? Nothing is better than just different kinds of cheese on like a boat-shaped plate that you can transport and has little fruits, and you can have a great time with it. And that's what I'm holding on to at this moment.
Amen. Can I ask for a friend who happens to be me? How do you develop a palate for a fancy charcuterie board?
Are you not down with the charcuterie sickness?
No, here's the thing. I love the idea of a charcuterie board because I love little things. I love having... Because to me, charcuterie board hits on what I love about tapas, which is I want a plate of lots of different things that I can just and they're handheld things too, which is my favorite.
Yeah.
Because it's so many different sensory things. Mm-hmm. Here's my problem. I grew up not with the finer things.
Sure.
And so my version of charcuterie growing up was Triscuits,
right,
and cheddar cheese and pepperoni.
I think that is also a charcuterie. I think it's fucked up to judge any, it's like if you got cracker cheese and maybe like a meat or a fruit, however you vibe, whatever, that's a charcuterie.
Okay.
It's all charcuterie, baby. Oops, all charcuterie.
Oh my God, yes.
Because I think it's like that's the same thing. It's just like however much you want to like level it up, and there doesn't mean it's better. They're all a Ritz and a fucking thing of cheese also is delicious always, regardless. It's always gonna be good.
I feel like especially when the weather gets hot.
Right.
And I increasingly have no energy to make a complex meal.
Yeah.
That was my go-to as a child, and also now is like
Mm-hmm.
I have cheese and crackers.
Right.
And vegetables. Fuck yeah.
And charcuterie board is the adult version of having cheese and crackers, and it makes you feel very accomplished for just eating cheese and crackers and fancy, which I appreciate because I will always eat cheese and crackers in any form. I
recently ran into an experience with a charcuterie board.
Such a threatening way to say that. I ran into an experience.
I recently turned a corner and there was a charcuterie board.
Yeah, you got spooked by a charcuterie.
I did. And I think my issue is, one, when they aren't labeled, because I'm like, ooh.
That's huge. Yeah, that's definitely a bummer for sure.
Because I'm definitely not going to ask.
Right.
That's never going to happen.
No.
And also, it's like, now you've got dried fruits in the mix, which is, whoa. And then there's a lot of different cheeses. And I think the problem for me is, like, I don't actually like the cheese.
Right.
Cheese doesn't like me. And so we're kind of
on bad terms.
Yeah, we're already on fighting terms here.
Yeah.
Love a cracker. I can fuck with the meat, but it's like, I've got the stuff that isn't labeled. There's a lot of different textures here.
Yeah. There's a lot of different risky things that can happen here.
Right, exactly. But I do love the concept of them.
Yeah.
And the idea that it's theoretically, especially if you're not making it for an event, you're just making it for yourself. Right. It's low effort.
Yes.
God.
The best. So that's my little joy that I'm holding on to.
God bless.
How are you doing, my dude?
I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, I am here. I am alive.
Yeah.
And now that you're older, life insurance, more expensive, so that's great.
Love that.
Car insurance, though, less expensive, so I'll take it.
That's fun. That's a fun little trade-off.
It's a fun little trade-off. I'm bringing something to the space for my happy thing this week. That is a television show, shocker. That is not a good television show. So I'm going to preface
Fabulous. Love it. I'm already in.
However, Hulu, as it ought to do sometimes, likes to present me with a challenge of saying, hey, this is going to expire in 14 days. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Right. Guess I'll just watch all of it now.
Yeah, there's 16 seasons. I can do that.
Right.
Game on. Hulu,
yeah.
Thank you.
You want to bet?
And my challenge that was presented, that I took from Hulu over the next fortnight, is in fact The Real Housewives of Orange County.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Now, I've never seen any of that. I've never watched any of The Real Housewives before. The only thing that I've seen from any of them is the titular meme of "That's my opinion."
Yes, right. Cultural reset.
Now, I put this on, one, because I did accept the challenge from Hulu, but also because it is very much a, like, I can put this on and let this play. Right. And I don't need to worry about rewinding it.
Or missing something, right.
Or missing something important, right? Like, it's not like Under the Banner of Heaven where, like, I need to go back because I missed something really important. Right. Here's the problem, though. I'm fucking invested now. This is like, for me, this is like going to the zoo, right? Yeah. Because this show starts in, like, 2005, maybe. So it's not even, it's standard definition. Like, it's not even formatted for my TV. But I was like, it's fine, because I'm unpacking and stuff. Like, I'm not even watching it. I'm just listening to it. Right. And all of these women are completely out of touch with the real world, which is why I love it, because it doesn't matter. Yeah, like, it's just, but now I'm absolutely invested in their lives. And all of the shitty drama that they get in with each other. And I absolutely intend to finish it right before I don't know where it's going.
Well, to be fair, I think most of, if not all of, the Real Housewives are on Peacock now. Oh, I think they have all of them. So if you don't finish the challenge, but I know you will because I believe in you, you also have it there. Because I'm also not super familiar with the Real Housewives. It's never been my bread and butter. The only thing, we tried watching the Salt Lake City one because we were like, oh, that'd be fun, because also there's a Mormon element to that, which is interesting. But we didn't make it past a few episodes. But I do appreciate the chaos of it all.
And that's the thing, right? Is it's so chaotic. And I knew, like, because I know that there's like 10 different
spin-offs, yeah.
of this now. And I knew, like, if I'm just gonna start one of them, I want to start with the first one so I can understand the format of this. And it's like, there isn't, you know, it's like anything. I can pick it up really easily, but I wanted to understand how it works. And also, I get, like, 2005 Andy Cohen, which is hilarious. Right. And it reminds me a lot of Selling Sunset, where it's just, these people are so disconnected from anything.
Right.
That it's just...
There's no sense of reality ever.
There's no sense of reality, which, to be honest, folks, is exactly what I need right now.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
I don't want to watch anything that is connected with any part of the world right now. I just needed something to keep me from doom scrolling on my phone. And this is working great.
Yeah, hey.
It's doing a great job. So, it's doing great. It's weird and ridiculous and very petty. And I love it a lot. I can't wait for it to go into HD so that my television doesn't look like it's broken. But I appreciate it a lot. And now I understand why people watch it, because it's just so disconnected.
Right.
From
it's
everything.
Like it's incredible.
Yeah, it is not good television. But if you, like myself, cannot just need an hour to just let go and watch people be very absorbed in anything else, this is a great choice.
Yeah.
I don't know that I recommend it, but you know what?
But
it's
hey,
working,
it's doing its job, which is important.
Absolutely. We have a couple of current events, just a little bit.
Yeah.
The first of which is ours. Just a little bit of current events for us, which I love.
Yes.
Which is, by the time that you all are listening to this, it'll be the end of May. It's time for all of your favorite corporations to change their profile pictures to rainbows.
Right.
God, do you remember last year when we were talking about the IKEA couch?
Oh, God, such simpler times.
Was that last year or 2 years ago?
It surely the bisexual couch is eternal. It has lived far beyond and far all over. We love to see it.
Yeah. But if you are needing merch to celebrate Pride, and you don't want to be scammed or go to Target, we have merch.
Ooh, and it's I will say cute and gay.
I will say it's cute too.
It's very cute. I wear it all the time.
I love it.
I love it. It's very soft, which is nice.
It is soft.
And it literally says "Oops, all fruity," which, dang us, hello.
Right. And you know that, like, we made it.
Right. It is made by everyone involved in the process is gay. So, like,
yeah, TeePublic, if you didn't know, gay. They're
right.
Gay.
Okay, well, maybe not. But yeah, it's great. And if you want to send a few bucks, I'm sure they have sales all the time. So, like, go hog wild.
They have sales all the time.
Literally, there's never not a time where their things are not on sale. So just do it, you know?
And the benefit for our patrons is you all always have a coupon code.
That's true. You do have a discount.
It's
so
pinned on our fucking Patreon page.
Right.
So. We have a couple of current events that are not related to our merch.
Yes, we do.
Just a little things.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it does not relate to Anne Hathaway at Cannes.
But shouldn't everything be Anne Hathaway in all of her outfits?
God, she looked so fucking radiant. It's like honestly ridiculous.
It was so fucked up.
Yeah. Apparently there were walkouts at Crimes of the Future, which I did not hear that much about, but I also
Right.
heard that they got like a 6-minute long standing ovation. So what's the truth? You know,
Right, what's the truth, guys? Yeah, and also this is a thing that like Cronenberg has been teasing this whole time of being like, yeah, people are gonna throw up in this movie, people are gonna walk out, people are gonna hate it, they're gonna hate me, and it's gonna be awesome. And I'm like, I'm not surprised, you know, by this. So, you know,
right,
it's
well then, you know what? Fuck it.
some of those people were cowards and not sickos, and you know what? That's on them, I feel.
Yeah, so maybe it's not that big of a deal, but I know that Cinema Blend
Yeah, Cinema Blend.
had reported on that. Thank you to Carly Levy for sharing a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And K-Stu had been like, yeah, so there were some walkouts, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I'll go fuck.
But she was like, yeah, of course I'm going to stay and watch. It's my movie.
Right.
Of course.
Like, why is this a question?
It does make me very interested to know that there was such a huge difference between the audience. Especially because the fact that the movie's out like next week. Right?
Yeah, like literally next week. So
Just a good
fun.
Spoopy movie for the summer.
Yeah. Hot girl summer.
Just a hot girl summer with lots of splooches and
Hot sploosh summer.
Stop, please. There's a couple of directorial debut updates. Do you want to tell us about K-Stu and apparently Dakota Johnson?
Yeah, but right. We have some dual director updates here. We know previously that K-Stu has been working on a directorial debut and Chronology of Water, which we talked about like a few months ago at this point.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Right. And has just been like waiting to like make it happen, like whatever, let's do it. But it still hasn't like gotten financing for it. And it seems like mostly because she wants to like make the movie with a super small crew and quote an indefinite shooting schedule along the coast of Oregon.
Sure.
Which like, okay, I can see why that might be a little bit hard for investors to sell. But or to sell to investors, whatever. But you know, that's fun.
Great.
So we're, you know, the movie's gonna happen eventually, but it's who knows? Who knows? Homegirl just being like, please, anyone, give me shmoney.
Especially because the fact that the premise of this one just sounds really interesting.
Right, and it's like based on a book, and like, you know, there's like other things that like make it seem very buzzy and like could be interesting. Has already done short film about water, you know, like it's in her wheelhouse. Has literally been underwater in a film. I think I feel like it's gonna happen. It just, you know, not as fast as maybe we're all hoping for. Wish, whatever.
When the time is right.
Right. Yeah, it'll happen. Our next future director is potentially Dakota Johnson.
I'm very curious about this.
Right. Like what it means, why, for what. Because really...
Mostly those last two questions.
Right, yeah. The good folks at Variety wrote about how Dakota, who already has co-founded a production company, Tea Time Pictures.
Sure.
And, you know, thinking about the films she's wants to produce under that company or whatever. And says that she's been thinking about actually directing something in the future.
Don't let that woman think.
Right. We can't let her get too much power, okay?
Don't let her do it. Also, tea time is such a weird thing. Like, is it golf? Are they having cucumber sandwiches? Like, what is the vibe here?
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of vagueness in terms of like what the kind of brand is for the whole thing. It's just about like storytelling and like multiple perspectives. And it's like, sure, yeah, absolutely, got it. Anything else? And she's like, well, it's about like movies, right? We know movies. We love movies.
I feel like she got Chris Martin's approval on this. She was like, yeah, babe, like I just want to like tell stories. And he was like, you know what? Right. You should do it.
Right.
No one.
And like it's for this first thing that's like in the Tea Times production slot or whatever, called slip at Roku. Okay. She was basically saying about how she got really jealous thinking about someone else directing it. And she was like, now wait a minute. What if I just do it myself? So who knows? Who knows?
Don't let this woman think.
Yeah. She's like, I just want to be involved in the process, I just want to be in there.
Interesting.
Which, like, okay.
Interesting, Dakota.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll see it, I guess. See what you do.
Yeah.
If you do anything.
Yeah, I'm curious, but also these names.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Right.
Tea time.
Tea time.
Slip.
What's going on?
What is happening here? I have questions.
Yeah.
Speaking of questions, that was not an intentional pause.
Just a dramatic pause. Yeah.
Let's talk about Bird Promise.
Yeah. It's time. It's time we talk.
I got some questions here.
Yeah.
When we last left off, Rose is not doing that well.
Right. Not
She
doing
had
so
some lying
hot.
going on.
Yeah.
She finally confessed to the family and said, hey, Dimitri's dead.
Hey, Chaboy is
Sorry.
dead. No, nobody else told you that? Ooh. Ugh.
Oops, sorry. That the school definitely should have done that.
Yeah.
And then she was a wallflower at the wake.
Yeah. And
I don't know if you all knew, but that
Right.
was a unpublished poem.
Wallflower at the wake.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite unpublished poems.
Wow. Flex.
Thank you. That is what I remember. Oh, and then she met at the end fucking Abe or whatever.
Yeah, we got our boy Abe, who all we've heard about him so far is bad news. He is known as like the Snake. He has, he's got a weird relationship with the alchemist. People are scared of him. A lot of mob situations feels like going on here.
Very Tony Soprano.
Very gabagool, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Gabagool, but scary. And so, Rose in chapter 9, Rose is outside trying to like catch her fucking breath, and sees Abe, and it's like, hey, bestie, what's up?
Yeah, he just comes over with his henchman.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck is up, Rose? And she's like,
Yeah.
I know you? What?
Right. What is happening? I don't know what's going on. And this whole conversation is just interesting.
As usual, Rose is putting off a great impression and is flirting with the edge of getting herself killed.
Right. It's truly just like pushing the little boundary here and the envelope here. And she's just like, well, I'm assuming you already know who I am. What are you doing? And he's like, actually, Rose, what the fuck are you doing here? And she's like, oh, so you don't. I'm like here. There's like a funeral going on. I don't know if you noticed. There's like someone like just died, and I'm here to like pay respects.
Everyone dressed in black.
Right. It's like kind of a big bummer in there. You didn't get that vibe from over there. You didn't see that.
Yeah.
And she's like, I came here to like tell this family that he's dead because obviously that message did not get come across.
Right.
So that's it. Definitely not lying. And he's like, you're definitely lying.
What I found so interesting about this dude is like when we talked last week, I wasn't sure why Rose recognized him. Mm-hmm. Because it was very, like, what the fuck, like...
How
why?
could she and why? Yeah.
Right, because it was very sus. And then it came to find out that, like, there were three faces that Rose saw when she got KO'd in the barn. Mm-hmm. One was Dimitri when she was dreaming.
Right.
The other was Elena. And then the other, because she had seen a man, and that man was Abe.
Right.
Come to find out.
Right. Which, like...
He was the one with the earring.
Yes, the dangly little earring. The little hoop earring.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does a lot of descriptions of this dude. And it's like, okay, gotcha, full picture.
Yeah.
She also calls him old man in this, which I really appreciate.
I love it. His henchmen do not like it, but Abe loves it.
Yeah, Abe was like kind of eating this up. He's like, I'm having a good time. You know, we're just, you know, I know that you're lying straight to my face right now, but I'm also not going to tell you shit. So we're just in this little standstill here and fuck it.
Yeah, they were having this like really, not like good, but they were having this like jovial kind of.
Right. Nobody seemed in immediate danger, which is great, you know.
And then it absolutely changes.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Because she will not tell him the truth, and he seems to like know.
Right.
But like in his bones, not actually knowledge wise.
Right. And like especially because
like, spidey sense.
Yeah. And like Rose too is trying to get information of like, why the fuck are you following me? Who sent you? Any of these things. And he's trying to be coy of like, well, I'll tell you if you tell me why you're here. And she's like, fuck off. Absolutely not. You know, whatever. Like that kind of shit. And being like, you know, having this weird standoff thing of like, you know, I got my boys here and like I'm only representing like some people that are interested in you. Like there's a whole network of folks that like want you and I won't say who or why. And you're just going to have to live with that unless you spill the beans.
It's so awkward because he finally is like, okay, fine. Like, let's train.
Right.
I'll tell you who sent me if you tell me why you actually came to Russia and don't fucking say that it's for a funeral because I know that's not true.
Yeah.
And Rose is like, Abe, you silly little old goose.
Buddy.
I told you. And he finally snaps and he's like, Rose, you dumb bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
what are you fucking... You can't play this game.
I told you not to lie. And he's like, the laughter's gone. Like, he's like steps closer to her. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I know that you have a reason for being here. I just don't know what it is. Tell me.
Right.
And it seems like shit's about to get real. But then it doesn't.
Right. And then Victoria fucking swoops on in. And it's like, hey, we've been looking all over for you. You want to come back inside? And Rose is like, Abe, sorry. I have other things. I have other places that need me. And he's like, okay, we'll chat about this later. And she's like, we absolutely will not chat about this later.
See you never.
See you never, bud. I'm out. Bye. Get out of here.
Yeah. And it's interesting because Victoria thinks that
they're like friends.
Rose and Abe are friends.
Yeah, like they have a cordial relationship. And she's like, I hate that guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even know that
I
man.
hate that guy.
And she's like, that's really weird because, you know, he helped, you know, like bring you over here and thought you knew us, you know, because you kept saying, you know, Belikov and just like had the idea to like bring them over to us and to Elena. And she's like, oh, I don't love that.
That's so embarrassing.
That's so, yeah, I'm definitely talking in my sleep, and it's just the last name of my undead boyfriend. That's annoying and embarrassing. But also now this guy, it seems like he really knows more than maybe I think, which is annoying.
Yeah, and Victoria also says, when Abe realized that
oh yeah,
Victoria's
they don't
family
know each other.
Didn't know who Rose was, he was gonna take Rose somewhere else.
Right.
And then Yeva was like, actually,
no. I need her.
Keep her here. I have plans for her because apparently Yeva, the grandmother, had dreamt Rose was gonna come to them.
Right.
And Rose about loses her mind because she's like, wait a second.
Whoa.
Why did Dimitri's grandma dream about me?
Hold up.
This woman who
seems to not like me. Death stares. And doesn't speak English or chooses not to. What is happening here?
Yeah. Rose is very confusion.
Yeah. Then we get very sad.
Oh my god.
It gets very sad. And
y'all remember that scene in Breaking Dawn where they're sitting around the fire before the big fight, and they're like, hey, we are about to die, let's just share all our memories.
Yeah, let's just, you know, we're all in this together and like remember each other. That's what's happening now.
Yeah. Ferrero decided to take that a little step further.
And was like, hey, so this is the part where we all just talk about how much we love Dimitri and all of the memories of him. And since we haven't seen him in a really long time. We kind of need you to like have a lot of them ready to go, you know, and just emotionally traumatize yourself, so we can all remember who he was at the end of his life, and very specifically how exactly he died. Very deliberately.
I feel like this is normal.
Yes.
At any sort of I've only been to like one sort of wake-ish thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is pretty common for the way that people grieve.
Yes.
Whether it's planned or not, but often to like share memories that you have with someone. And so naturally when Rose realizes like why they've guided her to this fire pit, she's like, no, I don't want to do this.
I ain't ready. Nope.
Hey, no.
And they're like, we need you though, for real though, please.
Especially when which is what I love about Rose, when she finally like opens her trap, she will not shut up.
Right. Goes so in detail, like
for no reason.
Like they were asking more specifically of like, what was he like?
What was he like?
Like
about his last days.
What were his last days like? Like, how did you guys vibe? Because you can tell, obviously, too, after this, that like they know that there was a relationship between the two of them that wasn't just
because Rose
a teacher
tells everything.
She just is so, and like she didn't need to because they kind of picked up on it, but she just like went in detail of everything, all of it.
I mean, not like the sex,
but like, you know,
the way she talks about him.
Right. The way she talks about him, and it's like super revealing, and she talks about every minute of the last few days of his life. Some of which she had already talked about, but just even goes further in, and it's like, Rose, please. And meanwhile, is it Victoria or someone else just like trying to translate as best as she can, like goes, you know, turbo mode. While Rose is just like word vomiting.
Because at first she was going pretty slow.
Right, yes.
Because when she was hearing the stories from other people, she was just like sobbing.
Right.
And talking pretty slow, which made it easier for Victoria to translate. And then when she just like unhinges her jaw, she won't shut up. But I think that the Dimitri's family, and I'm imagining based on if the other people in town had kind of asked like, who's this random person,
right,
only knew Rose was Dimitri's student,
right.
And once she talks about like when the Strigoi had attacked and how he went and tried to save everyone, with the amount of detail that she described, it's not like an average student would have been attached to his hip like that.
Right.
And so I think that people kind of filled in the blanks like, oh, they were together.
Right.
And she didn't need to say that for people to realize like, oh, this woman is here. She did this. The school didn't do it. And she's here and she's sobbing.
Yeah,
like,
clearly there's something emotional. Like it's not just someone who worked or studied under him and is like a messenger. You don't have that reaction. Obviously, that's the case.
Yeah.
They do their whole thing. Everyone's kind of, not loving it, but they're getting vodka. It. Yeah. She notices that Abe and his crew are kind of in the back, still like listening and still kind of there, which she's like, okay, keeping that in the back pocket. And then they get wasted.
She gets wasted.
Yeah, yes, of course, notably. She gets wasted.
Because I think they toast to Dimitri with, like, this Russian vodka.
Yes.
And Rose is like, actually, I need all of this.
Right. And it's immediately first like, this is not vodka. And they're like, oh, sweetie, welcome to Russia. Like, here we are. And so she drinks a lot, gets incredibly emotional, obviously, as the more drunk she gets. And at some point, she's like wobbling and stuff, and Sydney is like, hey, you didn't have to like drink every time they offered it to you. Like nobody was forcing you to do that. And Rose is like, I didn't want to be rude. I can't be, that's mean. That's rude and mean to the place they're hosting us. I can't just say no to their vodka, but ends up drinking way too much.
Yeah, which I thought was hilarious. The other thing too is like Sydney is trying to guide her upstairs to go to bed.
Right.
Is Rose is like, it's really weird they were acting like I was Dimitri's widow. And Sydney's like, well, you might as well have been. Right. Because not a lot of people get married around here. And so if you're with someone long enough, they kind of figure it's about the same. Right. And Rose is like, well, can't deal with that.
Like, I'm not going to think about that right now. I'm not in the emotional headspace to do that.
So I'm just going to tuck that away for a different time. Right. And a lot of these questions that she's asking while very much just drunk, Sydney does not have a response to because she's never been in love, and so she's like, I don't know if it'll ever get better, Rose. I'm sorry.
And she's like having conversations in her own head and then like saying the answers to herself out loud, and Sydney's just like, I don't know what you're doing right now, but you're just gonna have your little moment and sleep it off and just think about that in the morning when you're not as drunk.
I am wondering if Ferrero's editors forced her to have these moments with Lissa. Yeah. Because they feel so awkward to me.
They're so forced. And, like, I know we're, like, building up this Avery situation. Like, I know. I get it. I get what we're doing here. I get it with the Adrian. I get it. Okay? But, like, every time in the last few chapters has felt very strange. Like, whiplash. In not a way that serves the plot really at this moment, or feels like it's like it's obviously teeing up, but like it's not, just the placing of it doesn't feel like the vibe. I don't know.
I don't like it. I understand why Ferrero is doing it. I understand it's very clear what's happening, especially because of the amount of mirroring that's happening, but it just feels out of place.
Right. Because, like, I see, too, that, like, obviously we want... It seems like she's trying to, like, give them equal amounts of importance, both timeline, or both, like, places and people. But, like, that's obviously not the case right now. Like, it's not. No. And it's weird to, like, pretend as if, like, giving them equal footing makes the most sense for both Lissa and Rose, when really Lissa's having a very different situation right now than Rose is, and most of the emotional core of this book so far is Rose going through trauma and grief and all this shit. So it's like just feels out of place to like just sort of make up that like they're on. It's like I'm so glad to hear from both of them at the same time. It's like maybe I would like a few chapters maybe without this perspective, and that's okay. I think we're good.
I agree. It's weird, especially because this chapter, at least the first part of it, is just Avery being like, let's just, like, cut class. Like, fuck school.
Yeah, fuck school.
I don't even go here. Yeah. But, like, let's just...
Like, whatever.
Let's just pull fire alarms and make this really, honestly, like, really scary for a lot of the instructors here.
Yeah, because
even though we just had this major trauma,
like have huge school-wide events of attacks and murders and wild stuff, and Avery just swoops on in here. It's like, what if I pulled the fire alarm though, and we all just didn't have to go to class anymore and think about the Scarlet Letter? Wouldn't that be really fun? It's like these people are traumatized, Avery.
And like one fire alarm, sure, annoying, but whatever. Right. But she was like, I have it on good authority that another alarm's going to go off at the school when they open the doors, and another one's going to go off once they think that, like, everything's fine. And it's like, that's really fucked up,
hey,
actually.
Avery, how will you stop that? Because I don't love that.
That's, like, really messed up. So don't do that.
Yeah, it's not a fan.
God.
This whole moment with Adrian is weird and, you know, like, I get it, but enough. I'm saying, like, Adrian's just like chilling in this like she like bangs on his door and be like, I need Adrian to see this and what I've done and how fucking sick that was, and then he'll love me kind of energy. And he just like just woke up in the middle of the day and, you know, opens up a beer or something. It's like, what is going on? Why are you here at my dorm? Like, what?
Avery, why do you have such pick-me energy?
Right. Like, I
miss
see what
Rose.
you're doing here. I want someone who hates me and doesn't want to be with me. Don't you get it?
Yeah.
You are being too eager.
Exactly.
I don't love it.
The rest of this chapter, though, I fucking love it.
Yeah. Yes.
I finally getting some good Yeva content.
Listen.
Is exactly what I want.
Yeva's a bad bitch, and we've known that.
I love
we
her.
picked up on that energy immediately, and she is coming into fruition. We love to see it.
I just love that Rose got like 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Is so hungover and is woken up by Yeva just literally kicking and shaking her bed.
Yeah, and just being like, "Hey," like, no, obviously not saying anything, but like muttering in Russian.
Yeah.
And being like, "Hey, bitch, it's time to go." And Rose is like, "I am never drinking again. I am so tired. I hate this. Why is this? It's so early. I don't know what.
Is the sun even up?
What's going on? I hate it here." And you know, Paul is like, "Hey, Grandma says you have to go with her." And she's like, "What?"
I'm 10 years old, but I'm translating for this 200-year-old woman.
Right. That's
Please don't be mad at me.
mother time. And she's like, "What? Why? Where?" And poor Paul is
Grandma
like,
says you can't get changed.
"Yeah, you can't do
Grandma says
anything. You
can't
don't need to
go
know.
shower.
Right. You have to go right now. There's no time." And she's like, "Can I brush my
only
teeth?"
brush your
Please. And he's like, "Yeah, I guess we can do that." I love this dynamic so much. Like, this is the buddy cop, you know, energy.
Oh,
You know,
I love it so
I love
much.
it. I love it. Very odd
Especially,
couple,
like-
you know. I love it.
When they go downstairs and Elena's like, "God damn it."
She's doing one of her
Yeva.
things again. Yeva's being Yeva again. And, you know, Elena's like, "Oh, it's pretty early for you, huh?" And she's like, "I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to do this." Yeah, Elena's also like, "Hey, you want breakfast?" And Yeva's just like pointing to her wrist, like, "We got to go. There is no time.
We do not have time.
Don't have time. Something's important." She brings out a little satchel in the living room. Just hands it to her, obviously with no communication. And Rose is like,
Nope.
"Okay, I'm just gonna
Great.
put this over my shoulder. There are things in it, and okay." And then there's another bag. She's just becoming bag lady at this point. Just
Yep.
throwing all these totes, little shoulder bags, you know. Being like, "Okay, all right." And now
Yeah, it's like 2 bags and a box.
no, big box, yeah. And she's like, "Hey, Yeva, what the fuck is this?"
Why are you making me carry like 50 pounds of shit?
I was okay with like the 2 bags because they weren't that heavy. This box is literally a brick. What is happening? What does it mean? And there's more boxes.
And then they have to walk for like an hour.
Go on this little journey of walking. I'm so obsessed
Paul.
with this. Yeah, poor Paul. Just being like, "Hey."
Because he's just the messenger, right? And so he's like, so Yeva says that if you're such a famous Strigoi killer, then like this shouldn't be a problem.
Right. So I think you can just toughen up. Okay. So she's kind of when Paul
Every time that Paul spoke, I kind of just wanted to kick him.
right. When Paul was like, "Hey," she's kind of surprised you can't move faster. She's kind of like, "Paul."
Yeah, like Uncle Dimitri never would have complained this much.
Yeah, you're kind of being annoying. I was like, "I can't with this. I am being bullied on all sides."
I'm hungover. I'm carrying like 50 plus pounds of stuff.
Yeah.
And
We've been walking for an hour.
I don't even know where I'm going. Yeva, what did you do?
Yeva, please.
God.
They find this little house. This tiny, tiny house. It's all like kind of, you know, weird, flashy design, like Moscow, St. Petersburg era, like vibes of design or whatever. Yeva just comes on up, says nothing, knocks on the fucking door. And it's like, hey bitch, let's go. And someone opens. It's this Moroi woman with strawberry blonde hair. They speak a little bit in Russian. And thank God she like speaks back, switches to English for Rose, because she's like, oh baby, I can tell you have not been able to speak for like an hour because you were just here.
And then there was like, it's Oksana, and she's like, oh hey, what's up?
What up?
My husband is in the garden, and Mark, like, he'll be in here soon.
Right. And Rose is like, hey, what is happening?
Like, thankfully, like, Oksana offers them chairs.
Yeah.
And Oksana, like, goes through the stuff that Rose was carrying, and some of the like 2 bags were filled with like funeral stuff that they had just used, so like dishes and pots and whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And Oksana finally goes through that big ass box that Rose was carrying,
full of
and it
garden
was just
bricks.
like bricks. And Rose was like, Yeva, what the fuck?
Yeva, are you fucking kidding me right now? Am I Mr. Pack Mule?
You literally carried bricks.
I thought this was gonna be like maybe a spiritual situation here, and I'm just your pack mule. What the fuck?
God damn it.
Yeah. She's like, it's very sweet of you to like carry all that stuff. And she's like, yep, thank you.
I'm super happy to help.
You're welcome.
But Rose doesn't realize like that was like super fucked up, but Oksana and Mark are like, it's actually kind of a treat for her.
Yeah.
Because they are a married couple, and they're Moroi and a Hampier.
So
she's like, wait a second, what?
Hold up. What?
That's
That's illegal. You can't do that.
I thought you weren't, that's not a thing.
I thought. Yeah. And she's like, well,
they
maybe I can marry Alyssa. Just kidding. Unless.
And they offer food, and Rose is like, oh, thank God. And Rose is like watching them make this food, because, you know, Yeva's not going to talk.
Right. Yeva's just sitting there, sitting pretty.
And Mark and Oksana aren't really talking to each other, but they're communicating.
Mm-hmm.
And Rose is like, wait a fucking second. You two are bonded.
Bum, bum, bum.
And Oksana's like, yeah, didn't Yeva tell you? And she's like, God damn it.
Why does nobody tell me anything?
Why won't this woman tell me anything?
So they finally find another bond.
Like, why she's here. But yeah, they're like a married, bonded couple, and she asks about like spirit.
Yeah.
Which apparently, like, that part is not widely known.
Right, because she, like, all that really Rose is basing off of is A, her and Lissa, and then also the very terrifying legend of Vladimir and Anna. Vlad, which did not work out so well for them. And Miss Carp. And so she's like, okay, there's, like, actual people that are, like, alive and have a control over it and, like, work together and are married. Like, that's what the...
Yeah, they don't seem evil.
Right, they don't seem like they've lost all sense of control and, like, have gone to the deep end. Like, they seem, like, nice.
Yeah.
Not, like, super unstable. Very good. Love to see it. Very encouraging.
Yeah. When she finally goes out into the garden with Mark, I about lost my shit.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like the point of Yeva bringing Rose was so that Rose could learn from Mark.
Yes.
But it also doesn't seem like that's how it works. Like, Rose is kind of teaching Mark some stuff, which I loved.
Right, because it seems like she's like, for what Mark and Oksana feel like, they're just kind of always been like, this is just how it happens. Like, sometimes this happens, and that's, we don't really know too much about all of it, you know, in comparison.
Yeah.
But Rose is like, I've done some reading, actually. I got some books, you know. I've had some experiences. Let me drop some knowledge on you.
I also thought it was super cute that Mark told Rose about Yeva's intentions.
Right.
And that Yeva thinks Rose is worthy of her grandson, which I thought was super cute.
Yeah.
So, because Yeva, you know, will never say that.
Right. Also, oh my god, Sorry. Mark drops the term bondmate, which I thought was super cute.
Oh my god.
And Rose is like, oh my god, that's so cute. Obviously, Bond Babe is better, and we should have written this book. But Bondmate is very cute. I did like that.
He also says, like, so why are you here? Like, where is Lissa?
Where's your girl? Why did you abandon her?
Why did you abandon her? And Rose is like, oh my god, I didn't abandon
guys,
her.
we're being a pretty hostile right now. I don't appreciate the energy here.
Yeah. He also says the unpromised thing again, which is apparently a very big deal. But the most important thing about this conversation, which left me and Rose, I think, kind of jaw drooping at the end of this, was the way that this chapter ends. Because Rose had been noticing the whole time, like, Oksana seems fine, not like Lissa, doesn't need to take medication, like, is just vibing.
Right.
And Mark doesn't have any of the darkness that, like, Rose was having.
Right.
So what is their secret? Is it a vino? What is it? And he says at the end, like, well, why don't you just have Lissa heal the darkness out of you?
Right. What?
Hello? Like, you can just do that?
You can just do that? What? What? Sorry, that was there the whole time? That was it? That was...
He just said it like... He said it like it was so matter of fact.
Right.
And sir?
Like, okay.
So...
But...
So that's something that we need to kind of just reckon with.
Just, like, circle back on that one. You know, see what the fuck is up with that.
Yeah.
What?
Because apparently if that's just a thing...
Then what else can't they do? Like...
Right, exactly. That just feels like too easy of a solution. But okay, sure. Great. I think that we might need to investigate that a little bit more in chapters 11 and 12.
See what the hell that means.
Right.
In practice.
Yeah, but I mean, good for Oksana and Mark to just be, you know, vibing. Yeah. And having a great grand old time.
Yeah.
So... I guess we will learn a little bit more. Oh, and also they said that Hampiers for hire.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes a lot more sense.
About the whole Abe thing of being... Because he was saying, too, about, like, how the sort of culture is changing in terms of, like, Hampiers and stuff, which Rose has been noticing on her journeys and stuff of, you know, folks not wanting to do the school stuff anymore, not wanting to fight for their lives or whatever, and just, like, have families or, you know, fight for themselves and not for another thing. And a big part of that is, like, a lot of them get enlisted by, you know, these big, you know, dudes like Abe who, like, have their own business and stuff going on, which is like, uh-oh.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see where this goes.
Yeah.
For now. Especially since there's still an hour walk, presumably uphill now, that Rose has to do after this. So I will be curious.
Yeah.
But we have some amazing patrons
to thank.
Would you like to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Katie Black.
Ooh. Thank you to Kylie Minty.
Thank you to Alex Dornan.
Ooh. Thank you to Carrie Goldberg.
Thank you to Rebecca Cullen.
Ooh. Thank you to Jasmine Anastasia.
Thank you to Cassandra Bomer.
Ooh. Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Thank you to Cassandra O'Shea.
O'Shea. Thank you to Clara Belcock.
Thank you to Katya Karp.
Ooh. Thank you to Hannah Dragomir.
Thank you to Hope Castile.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Thank you to Rachel Ashford.
Thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Thank you to Samara Rinaldi.
Ooh. Ah.
Ooh.
Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh. Thank you to Tess Avery.
Thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ooh. Thank you to my mom, your mom, our mom, Kelly Beck.
Mom. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh. Thank you to Laura 40.
Thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Thank you.
Boo, boo, boo.
Thank you to Maria Swan.
Ooh. Thank you to India Peach.
And last but certainly not least, thank you to Emily Ozera. So I found this by myself.
Ooh, interesting.
Written by Goth Chewbacca.
Okay.
And it's titled Blood Promise. The summary is Blood Promise, but if Lissa went with Rose to Russia to hunt Dmitri. Additional tags. Another dumpster fire by yours truly, but once again, I'm enjoying myself. Best friends who hunt down undead boyfriends together. This is really moody, just a warning. Oops.
Okay.
BFF trip abroad, but with an unhealthy amount of vampire slaying and trauma along the way. So, just a little.
Sure.
Great. Just a little bit. Just a little. Okay. This is from this would have been like the first chapter of Blood Promise, but it's also in this fan fiction as chapter 1. Lissa pursed her lips. She held up a finger and turned back to the bushes she'd been hiding in. She emerged with a duffel bag and a small backpack. God, they were both a nightmare. No one is going to let either of you drop out, I warned them. No, which is why I'm going to compel the guards at the gate. Lissa replied matter-of-factly. I looked to Christian. And what was your grand plan, idiot? He shrugged. You and I have escaped worse. I figured we'd make it up as we went. I could argue until I was blue in the face, but I wouldn't get anywhere. Christian was a stubborn little shit, and Lissa had agonized and deliberated and ultimately made up her mind. Once she did that, there was never any possible way to argue. Against the two of them, I had no hope. If I'd left without them, they'd follow me anyway. When it came to protecting the people she loved, Lissa would do absolutely anything, and I had the feeling that Christian would do the same. I had to agree to let them come with me so that I could try and keep them safe. They had a better chance with me than they did on their own chasing after me. I sighed. Okay, I relented. Let's go and kill my undead boyfriend. End scene.
Damn.
This is far more interesting to me than the weird cutaways that we're getting right now.
Yeah, that's the energy for sure that I would like to see.
Can you imagine Christian trying to do his like shitty compulsion? I would die for it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that one came out like super recent, like a week ago, this fan fiction. So if you are interested in it, it is over 30,000 words.
Jesus.
So enjoy.
Yeah.
Friends, we've given you so many different recommendations. We've got a really great treat coming up for you for our May bonus Jonas. So I'm very excited for that. But until next week, as we say in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
And do it.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.